It's your dog Tweedy. Today we're going to be doing the first tier list for Chaos Reigns. Now, it is very early in the Chaos Reigns, new DLC, new changes to characters, and I'm a little out of the loop when it comes to tournaments. So, this tier list might age a little poorly, but I do have opinions, and I want to get those opinions out there, and I think it'll be fun. So, let's go ahead and. So, what I don't. These are like default tiers, so let me go ahead and change all this stuff. S tier. We'll go with a little S minus. We'll go with a little A plus. Because this is a balanced game. We'll go with a little A tier. We'll go with the little B tier. Then we'll go with a little C tier. Then we'll go with a little, poop tier. Does the character are they poop? Now let's go ahead and delete this row. Delete this row and delete this row. Now let's get into it. Now, a lot of the times when you see people do tier lists, they'll pick out like the best characters first. I'm just going to go from left to right. So, going to start with Lou, going to end at the DLC. So, we're just going to go from left to right. So, you never know like where I'm going to put a character. You'll never know. You got to you won't know. No one will know until it's over. Until you just skip to the end. Don't skip to the end though, because I got explanations for all these characters. Now, Liu Kang. Liu Kang, very good character. Great projectiles. Combos off his throw. Does a lot of good damage. He got a really good buff in the patch. His back two now has a no-gap mid-string that's safe on block. Doesn't combo, though, but, now he's a safe option on back two. He can counter poke with his 10-frame mid and meaty with it without worrying about, the second hit's a slow high, people just duck, full combo punish me, stuff like that. Now, Liu Kang does have kind of a range problem. So if he's getting outzoned and he has to come in with his like shorter normals, it can become a problem for him. So I feel like that holds him back from being like the best character in the game, or even like top 3. But I do think he's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and throw him in S minus. Gonna go ahead and throw Lou in S minus tier. Now Raiden did get a lot of nerfs, but he's still pretty good, right? Like he's got a plus unblock jab string. He's got a 3-hitting low string that you can mix in with cameos like Chameleon's overhead and stuff. He's got a unreactable overhead that splats. He's got decent neutral, right, with his little projectile, teleport, stuff like that. He can throw a cameo on top of it. So I think Raiden is still pretty decent. Obviously Raiden players, they're used to playing the best, character in the game by far. So they think he's poop tier because when you go from playing the best character in the game by far to playing, a mid-tier character, it feels like you're playing absolute garbage. But I feel like he is mid-tier. I feel like he's solid mid. He's decent. He's not insane anymore. I feel like he's perfectly balanced these days. They could buff him a little bit, to make him a little bit spicier, but yeah, I think he's pretty balanced. So Kung Lao got nerfed in the patch. They made his armor unsafe on block. Can't really put a cameo behind it, really, because it's just one quick hit with not a lot of block stun. They gave him like an air hat, but not a good trade-off. And I didn't feel like he was like S tier before anyways. But he's still good, right? Like plus on block jab string, decent pokes, good mix-ups with like a sweep and overhead. He's got like really good damage. But his neutral is like really lacking, right? So he kind of needed that armor, which he can still combo off that armor. So it's not the worst thing ever. Like the full thing does come out on the hit. So I would put him in like A plus right now. Might move him down a little bit depending on who I put there, but yeah, put him in A plus right now. Now Johnny's an easy top 5 character, maybe number 1. He's just best buttons in the game. Can combo off all of them. Easy hit confirms, plus frames, good pokes. The one thing about Johnny is no projectile, so you would assume like, oh, no projectile, so he's gonna get zoned. But he has Shadow Kick that's armored. He has like the best jump kick in the game, so people aren't going to keep him out. You can't keep him out, and he's better up close than everyone else. So that's why Johnny's so good, right? Like he's better than everyone in the game up close, and you can't consistently stop him from being up close. So Johnny, easy S tier. I think everyone would agree with that. Now Kenshi, the thing about Kenshi, right, is like he has the best offense in the game. He hits you, he gets Sento out, launching mix up after launching mix up. You have to read it with armor. He could bait it while Sento's hitting you. But depending on like your armor, if you use the right cameo, you could kind of like force the Sento situation to like go away. And that gave him like some tough matchups, especially whenever a character like zoned him good or just out neutraled him bad, and then they could do that like Peacemaker pre-patch. Now they nerfed Peacemaker. Peacemaker's still decent, but he got nerfed pretty bad. And so that's Kenshi's worst matchup out of there. I could still see him having some hard matchups, like maybe Sektor ends up being hard for him or something like that. Like there are still some decently hard matchups out there, but I think just because of how good Kenshi's offense is compared to everyone else, you kind of need to put him in S tier. Maybe S minus. I'll put him top of S minus for now, but I might move him up to S tier as we go on. Actually, yeah, let me keep him in S minus for right now. But we'll see. I might move him up to like the bottom of S by the time we're done. You also Blackout. All right, now Scorpion. Here's the thing about Scorpion, right? He's got really good damage. He's got really good buttons. But like he didn't really have any dirt, any sauce. And like the whole thing with like Spear Teleport wasn't really that good. They buffed Teleport, they made it a lot better. And he has the best synergy with Pharah in the game. With like his back three into Pharah, like you can only armor that. You're getting put into a launching mix. He launches off of Pharah with throw. Gets combo extensions with her. Like, I don't know. I feel like Scorpion with Pharah is like easily a top 5 team in the game. Now, Scorpion without Pharah might be around like here. Like Scorpion with like Chameleon. Scorpion with like Motaro. And then Scorpion with like a cameo that doesn't work well with him is like probably around like here. But with Pharah, I think he's up here. He's a very... So like Scorpion and Baraka, especially, because they have a lot of gaps. They don't have a lot to them as far as base kit goes. They're very cameo dependent, right? Like Scorpion without a cameo is like maybe one of the worst characters, maybe the worst. But like when you have a cameo that like brings everything together with him, especially when it's the best cameo in the game and he uses it better than everyone else in the game. I don't know. I think Scorpion's pretty broke right now. And yeah, so you could argue like, oh, Scorpion without Pharah, Scorpion without a cameo, he's bad. But I mean, Pharah's not banned from tournaments. There's no cameo tournaments. So as far as I'm concerned, Scorpion's an S tier character right now. Now Sub-Zero, a lot of people are disappointed that Sub-Zero got no buffs. Maybe he should have got buffs. But I still think he's pretty decent with Chameleon, right? Like his space control's really good. Mix-ups are really good. Not as strong as they used to be. They did nerf Float a little bit. He does have less health. Overhead is more unsafe on block. So overall, I would say Sub-Zero is like... He's either like B or A tier. I would say. I'm going to put him in like A tier. Yeah, I'm going to put him in like A tier with Raiden, I would say. He's pretty good, but... Yeah, he is lacking compared to a lot of the cast, but he doesn't have weaknesses, right? Like, he can poke, he can throw a mid on people, he can mix with Chameleon, he's got really good space control. It's just like he's not as dirty as like characters above him, I feel like. So, but you can pick Sub Chameleon and win, you know? Now we got Smoke. Smoke is really good. His punch game's really good with his forward one. Mix-ups are really good when he's invisible. He's got a really good damage. He's got a lot of gaps, though. He's got a lot of gaps. His neutral's pretty risky. Yeah, so I don't know. Kind of want to put Smoke, like, right here. feel like Smoke is really good, right? Like a really good Smoke player that's really good at the game. They could like beat people, win tournaments, stuff like that. But he's got so many gaps, and there's so many strong armored moves. So many characters out neutral him. The invisibility's good, but again, really strong armor in the game. People make it safe with cameo, stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like Smoke players, they're just really good. And then also on top of that, I don't know. I feel like Smoke is he's good, but there's better characters. That's how I feel about Sub Zero as well. All right, now Reptile. Reptile's good, right? Like he's got good neutral, really good meterless damage. He's got some like good tricky stuff with like his invisible cancels, and with the right cameo, he's pretty strong. I would say he's around like I would say he's like his overhead safe now. I feel like I'm more afraid of a good Reptile than like a good Smoke, but I would put him around like about the same, I would say. You can't hear what I'm saying? Oh, ads, my bad. All right, now Rain. Rain's really good, right? Like super high damage with Janet, throw combos with Janet, crazy setup, stuff like that. Good normals, good pokes. He gets outzoned by some characters, but outzones a lot of characters. So I don't know. I think Rain's really good. I don't know where I'm gonna put him. Um, maybe S tier, S minus, right above Lou is where I would put Rain. Yeah, it's right about where I put him. All right, so Katana, really good projectiles, good damage, great conversions. She's got good setups, good buttons. She does have gaps, but she can bait with those gaps really easily and stagger and counter poke and stuff like that. So, I mean, Katana's a character I don't play, so I don't have too many thoughts outside of when I fight her. And I might be missing like something Katana's not good at because I don't play her. But I feel like I would put her about right here, I think. Put her about right here, like bottom end of S minus. I would say I would put Katana there. All right, now Melina. Melina, she's got insane damage, disjointed her boxes. She's got really good mix-ups compared to a lot of the cast. You know, this isn't a super mix-up heavy game sometimes, but Melina, she's got really good mix. Um, her neutral's kind of funky, right? Because she has to like take a risk, maybe do like EX ball roll. Her projectiles don't go full screen, and her buttons aren't that long, right? Like her buttons are disjointed, so she's really good at counter poking, but her buttons aren't that long, so she can get outspaced by a lot of characters. So you might have to get a little risky and neutral to get something going with Melina. But once she gets going, she's genuinely one of the scariest characters in Mortal Kombat 1. So I would say she's like I would say like to be honest, if I run to a Melina that's good, I feel like she's like right here. But long term, she's probably like right here. It's where I've Katana and Melina right by each other in tier list, but that's how I feel. I think long term she's a little lower. Might even be like outside the top 10 by a little bit. But she's really good. She's really good. Okay, Sindel. Sindel, in my opinion, has the best offense in Mortal Kombat 1. Like, name a more stress-inducing situation for the whole cast than getting hit by Sindel and she puts a low hat down. Name one, you can't. You might be like, oh, Sento's up. A lot of the cast, it's not as scary. For the whole cast, the scariest or like top two scariest situation in the game is Sindel hits you and puts a low hat down. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe you could argue Sento is scarier for like half the cast, but like there's not like there's characters with like armor and a cameo stuff like that to get around Sento. Sindel, you're not armoring out of a good Sindel setup. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not armoring in the cameo out of a good Sindel setup, in my opinion. Maybe you can if they like don't do it right or they don't have the resources. Also, she's got really good damage. She's got way better neutral than a character like Kenshi. She's got way better projectile game than a character like Kenshi. So I don't know. I feel like Sindel is like easily like I could even put her above Johnny, but I'll put her right there for now. Easily S tier in my opinion. Obviously, she's cameo dependent, right? Like without Kung Lao or without something like that, she drops a little bit. But I think she's got the best offense in the game, I would say. Besides maybe like Homelander. We'll get to him later. She's well rounded, unlike a character like Kenshi. You know, she's very well rounded. She doesn't suffer in any area. So yeah, I got Sindel up there. Alright, so Tanya. Ooh, Tanya sits the patch. She's got to drop a little bit, right? Because her armor isn't as good. But I still feel like she's solid. They nerfed her mid too. Ooh, yeah, those are kind of brutal nerfs, y'all. Those nerfs are kind of brutal. She might be like right here. Pre-patch, I would have made an argument for like here or here. But now she might be like here. Yeah, I still feel like she's good, right? Because her normals are so disjointed. Her conversions are good. She's really good at like controlling the screen and like pressuring the opponent and bullying them. And I'm more afraid of a character like Tanya than these characters, than these four. But I would but I don't know. I feel like she dropped a bit. I need to play against her more. But yeah, I would put her like right there. I would put her above Kung Lao. I'll put her above Kung Lao. Okay, so Baraka. Baraka's really good. He's got like some of the best buttons in the game. He's got amazing pressure against most of the cast. He's got really good like disjointed stuff. His projectile does 8%. Um he's got to kill you with like throws though. And then he's got a lot of gaps. But I just feel like being able to win neutral against a lot of the cast is so good. So I don't know. I'll put Baraka like right here for now. I could drop him to the top of A plus, but I'll put him right here for now just because he wins neutral against so many characters. And Ashra, same thing. Disjointed normals, wins neutral against so many characters. With the right cameo, she can either like put plus frames on you all the time, or she can get amazing conversions. She doesn't have a full screen projectile, but you can throw Serena on, throw Chameleon on, throw Movado on, and all of a sudden that's not a weakness anymore. One thing about her though is her mid string's not that good. So when it comes to counter poking, she's not the greatest. Overhead's reactable. She's not really that dirty of a character, you know, because her overhead's reactable. Mid string is kind of shitty. Counter poking's not the greatest. But just her neutral, her disjointed normals, her damage, her screen control with the right cameo. I feel like that keeps her like pretty solid. So I would say she's like right around here, I would say. Yeah, I would put her like right around there. Alright, so Lee Mei. Lee Mei's problem, right, is like she gets out neutral by most of the cast. Her counter poking's not that good. Unless she's like punishing a poke in the cameo. I don't know. Lee Mei is not bad though. Like I feel like long term Lee Mei should rise. But right now, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I would love to see like Sonic or someone commit to her. Or like Rewind commit to, because Rewind's done well with Lee Mei, but he's using her as like a fourth pick. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. She's definitely good. Like a lot of damage, good projectile, good strings. Her jab string's really good. She's got decent mix-ups with like instant overhead in her low. Can combo off throw with cameos. So yeah, she's good. I would put her about like right here, I think. All right, now Reiko. Reiko's good, right? Like good buttons, really good jab string, overhead, down four, super annoying. Projectile, super good. Combos off command grab, meterless combos. Yeah, Reiko's pretty great. I would say he's like he's got also he thrives with like cameos that give you extra health too. Um I would put him I honestly I'm still high on Reiko. I know a lot of people think he's like lower, but I honestly think he's like around here. Like if played optimally and stuff like that. Like obviously he hasn't had the best tournament results all the time, but a lot of the time the better Reikos aren't able to get to events or rewinds maining like 5 different characters or whatever. But I think Reiko is one of the better characters in the game. Like his normals, he out neutrals a lot of characters, out projectiles a lot of characters, gets good damage. His damage isn't the greatest, but he does get meterless combos. And then he's comboing off a command grab, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a scrub, but I think Reiko's really strong. I think he's really good. Now Xiao's pretty good, right? Like he's got some of the better mix-ups in the game. Stand 2's one of the best normals. Whenever he's axeless, his mix and his normals go crazy. He's got really good synergy with like Chameleon. Um Obviously Dialogue got top 6 at Evo with him. Um but I still feel like he gets like out counterpoked by like the whole cast. And I don't know. But his mix is really good though, right? Um I'll put him like bottom of S minus right now. I'll put him like bottom of S minus right now. But I feel like I could drop him. I feel like he's better if a Shao played really well is scarier than the A plus characters. So yeah. Actually, let's move all these tiers. Let's move them all. So it makes a little bit more sense. Because I feel like there's starting to be a gap in the S plus that doesn't make any sense. Do I move Melina down? No, I'll leave Melina up there for now. So yeah, that makes more sense, I think. Okay, so Geras is really good, right? Like he's got really high damage, actually insane damage. His neutral's better now since he can combo off his overhead. Because his overhead for the longest was one of his best neutral tools, but it was really bad risk reward, right? But now he can combo off of it with the right cameo. He's got good strings. He still gets out neutraled and now counter poked by a lot of the cast. Um, and his mix ups aren't that great most of the time. Like command grab is like really high risk, low reward for him. Um, oh man, I think Gears is good. His armor's really bad. I think Gears is good, but I think other characters are just better. Is what I think. Put him like right here. I think Gears is really good. I think despite everything he has, I think in a real match where like winning neutral, winning counter poking decides matches, I think other characters are just better, to be honest. He could go up though. He could. And I haven't seen him as much as I haven't seen too much of him post match. Maybe I need to investigate. Maybe I'll have a different opinion. Maybe this will be one of my worst opinions on this tier list, but yeah, that's where I think he is. All right, so Natara's got just insane stuff going on, right? Like depending on the cameo, her damage is crazy, conversions are crazy. I do feel like personally, even though I lose to Natara most of the time, I don't play the matchup as well as I could. But just her damage, her ability to convert, her ability to get in, her ability to utilize a cameo like Farah, it's got to put her pretty high up, right? Jab string got buffed. Um, so I would put her like right here. I would put her pretty high. I don't know. Am I tripping? I feel like Natara with like Farah. is fucking terrifying, bro. To be honest. I don't know. I think she's pretty high up there. Maybe this is a bad take. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. The chat's saying I'm putting her too low. So I don't know. But that's where I would put her. But I'm not 100% sure. Let's go ahead and move Kenshi up to S, by the way. Okay, Havoc. So Havoc in his current state is like S, but I do think they're gonna revert like EX Snap. So I don't know. I don't know how I would judge him. Let's just put him where he is right now. Let's just put him where he is right now, which I would say is like around right here. I would say he's around right here. Like his neutral's still not the greatest, but it's not horrible, right? And then once he hits you, you're dead. Especially with EX Snap, he can do like touch of deaths. So yeah, I would say Havoc's around right there. Once they nerf EX Snap, he'll probably be like around like here. But yeah, Havoc got crazy ass buffs. I would say he's around like right there. I would put Scorpion above actually. The thing about Scorpion is like he can apply his dirt so easily with Pharah, you know? A lot of characters are like Geras. If you're on Twitter, Geras is like the best character in the game. But it's like how are you applying that against a lot of the cast, you know, consistently at a tournament level? Whereas Scorpion, you just do back three. If they block it, they're in your bullshit, you know? And then they got to worry about back three the whole game. They got to make sure they can armor if they're even a character that has worthwhile armor. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where I'm going to put him. All right, so Shang, I haven't seen too much of Shang since the buffs. Um but Shang's got a good projectile game. He's got decent buttons. I know his jab string got buffed like Natara, so that's good. He's got like a new launcher, right? So or was that Shujinko? And also Shang can launch with his armor with Goro, which is like insane and like B plus on block. So like the nerf that Tanya and Lau got, Shang just has what they had still, you know, which is kind of weird. But he still has it. So overall, I don't know. He's got like that nice little overhead too. I don't know, just overall Shang doesn't feel that dirty to me. Besides the armor. And if he outzones a character and he's doing that armor, like he's pretty obnoxious. I don't know, I feel like he's good. I feel like he's good. Between the launching armor, how he can outproject a lot of the cast, he's got decent buttons. I would put him like right here, I would say. I would put him like right there. Yeah. Okay, so Omni-Man. Dude, Omni-Man's really good. He's got good buttons, crazy damage, crazy like set play with the right cameo. Can launch with this overhead now, even though it's reactable, but it's good to throw out in neutral. You can't zone him because he'll just sit in Viltrumite stance. Um, but his neutral's not the best, right? Like whenever you're playing like neutral with someone, like you're not gonna beat a lot of the cast with like down four and forward four, unless you're like outplaying or like dash up jab. But he's really good. I would say he's like I wouldn't put him above Baraka. I'll put him like right under Baraka. I would say. I think that makes sense. All right, now Quan. Quan's really broken with Armor Portal. But a lot of the mix-ups of those Quan players do are fake. That you saw like Broseph doing at Final Combat. It's just not a lot of people have Quan XP. And then there's ways to get around Armor Portal, right? Like single button into your own armor, stuff like that. And his buttons are fucking dog shit. Like his buttons are absolutely shit. Like on top of his buttons being slow, you can armor like all the gaps. But his zoning's really good. Armor Portal is really good. Even though you can do some stuff, it's still really good. Bone Cage is really cheap. Um, so I don't know where I'm gonna put him. Okay, here's the thing. If you're fighting Quan Chi and it's a little laggy, or you don't know the matchup, and they're playing Janet, and they're doing Armor Portal, Quan is like around here. But I think long term, bro, I think long term, Quan is like, Quan fucking stinks. Like long term, I think he stinks. And here's the thing, I'm a victim of it too. I'll get hit by 2-1 into the low tail into Janet all day, but all that shit is fake. Like you can like fuzzy guard react to all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, at least. So and then his buttons are garbage. Zoning's not that great in this game. Even if your character struggles against zoning, you can throw on an anti-zoning cameo. I don't know, man. I feel like long term, like he's like pretty bad compared to other characters. Even if you know everything, he's decent, but other characters are just better, I think. Now Peacemaker did get nerfs, but he's still pretty good, right? Like jab string still plus, mid string still pretty good. His zoning is still good. Still gets meterless combos. His armor's not like it's not like unusable, especially if you're using Farah. Synergizes really well with Farah as well, which thank God he got nerfed because imagine pre-patch Peacemaker with Farah, torpedo into Farah and all that shit. Fuck that. Um, so I feel like he's actually kind of underrated. I don't know how high I would put him. I would say um, I would put him like right here maybe. I think he's underrated. Like people think he's like the worst. I actually think he's better than a lot of characters, to be honest. Or like than a handful, better than a handful. So yeah, I would put Peacemaker about right there. Ermac's really good, right? Disjointed normals, decent damage, really good at converting, meterless combos. Really good like mix ups, like he can get throw combos, shimmy you. With Lowy as like crazy, like hard to blockables that are almost as scary as like Sindel's. So I'm gonna be honest. Like I think Ermac's pretty high up there. The only thing though is like his projectile game is like abysmal, right? And his teleport's not that good compared to other teleports. So he's got to come in on everyone. But he does outbutton pretty much everyone too, though. So it's not that bad. His armor move is terrible. That's one thing. His armor move is trash. It does launch though. It does launch with the cameos people use on him. So I would say Ermac is like right here. I would say I'll put him like around right there. Now let me put Lou above him. Yeah, I would say Ermac's like right there. All right, so Homelander, his mix is insane, right? Like forward four, like jump kick, damage is insane. Combos off command grab. His neutral's crazy. Not much more really needs to be said. I would say he's like the best character right now. I could move him behind Johnny and Sindel, but I would say he's probably the best character. I feel like a lot of people agree, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not good enough for the matchup. I haven't been back playing that long. But yeah, I do think Homelander is definitely top five. I'm going to put him in number one for now. But yeah. All right, so Takeda. Takeda is like sneaky good, right? Because he gets grab combos, he gets really good damage. His buttons are decent. They buffed his back too, gave it a better hitbox. That's really good. Kunais are low. He's got some good cameo synergy. I played a Takeda Trimmer that was really scary. Um, I'm gonna say like he's. Despite everything I said, I do think a lot of characters just have more stuff. They have like better buttons. His armor is terrible. His armor is fucking. I would rather have like any other armor move I could think of like ever than his armor move. Um, I don't know. I think he's good. I think other characters just have more stuff. I'm gonna put him like right here. I would say he's definitely good. I just think other characters are better. All right, so Cyrax. Cyrax is really good, right? Like decent buttons. Her set play is crazy. Like she's got like top 5 offense in the game, maybe even top 3, and doesn't even need a cameo to apply it. With a cameo goes even crazier. Her neutral's not the greatest, but it's decent, right? Like her mid's disjointed. She anytime you get caught by her projectile, you're getting comboed and put into it. Got her teleport, stuff like that. So my early hot take on Cyrax is that she could be honestly, and she's got good someone just said why is smoke that high? I got him like at the bottom. My early hot take on Cyrax is honestly that she could. I think she could be S, honestly. I think she could honestly be S tier. Her buttons are good enough, like back three's 12 frames. Her stand one's good. Mid's disjointed, can shimmy. And anytime you get touched, you're getting put in a dumbass situation. So, I don't know. I think Cyrax is pretty broke. Now, Sektor. So here's the thing about Sektor, right? I played a lot of Sektor. She's got good projectiles. She's not hard to get in on, though. But she outzones a lot of characters. She's got insane damage. Insane damage. She's got armor that combos. It does scale a bit, so she's only getting like, what, like 21%, but still really good. She's really hard for a lot of characters to punish because she can do like something dumb into Motaro, go to the other side. But the thing about Sector, right, is like her buttons, like her jab strings, the second hit's 14, just getting microducked all day. Can't hit confirm after the first hit. Unless you maybe do like flamethrower into Motaro. Her mid's slow and the second hit's a high. So you can't really play neutral with it. That well anyways. Her back three is decent, but you can't hit confirm a good combo into that string. So her buttons are like kind of shit. They're not like Quan Chi level of shit though, to where it's like really holding her back. Overhead's reactable, by the way. That'll stop hitting eventually. So I'm not gonna rate her for like mix ups. Her overhead's like it's okay. It's better for a shimmy like long term than it is for actually like mixing someone up. Um, yeah, you can do back 3-4 EX down back 4, but you're not getting a great combo off that compared to like if you hit him standing with like 1-1. Um, I would say Sektor is like I would say she's like, and this might be downplay, but I would put her like right here ish. I would put her like right there. This might be downplay. Might be downplay. She might be a little higher than that. But I'm playing Sector, so I gotta downplay a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so Noob doesn't have the best neutral. He doesn't have the craziest mix-ups in the world, but when you get hit by Noob, you explode. You just explode. When he uses Embrace Chaos, he gets insane throw combo. You can get throw combos anyways with Janet. So he's really good, right? It's just kind of one of those situations where I think other characters might do things better, but because of how much damage Noob does, And because his neutral is fine, right? His neutral's fine. He's hard to zone because teleport's so fast and it goes up. So if you're jumping around, you can react, punish teleports in the cameo. I don't know. I would say Noob is like. I would say he's like right around here. I would put him bottom of S minus. Is where I would put Noob for now. This might be a bad take. This might be a bad take. He might rise, long term. He might rise a lot, but I'll put him right there for now. All right, and that's it for the tier list, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the chat, in the comments on YouTube. That's my tier list for now. I'll do an updated one in a few weeks whenever I played more and whenever we know more and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my tier list for now. Got Homelander top 1, Quan bottom 1. And yeah, y'all, appreciate everyone.